The Cochinchina campaign, also known as the French conquest of Indochina, was a military expedition undertaken by the French to colonize the southern region of Vietnam, then known as Cochinchina. The campaign, which lasted from 1858 to 1862, was a significant chapter in the colonial history of Southeast Asia and marked the beginning of French colonization of Indochina. The French had been interested in Vietnam since the early 18th century, but it was not until the mid-19th century that they began to make serious attempts at colonization. In 1857, the French merchant ship Lamartine was seized by Vietnamese authorities, and the French used this incident as a pretext to launch a military campaign to establish a foothold in Vietnam. The French expeditionary force was led by Admiral Charles Rigault de Genouilly, who landed in Da Nang in February 1858. The French quickly defeated the Vietnamese forces and took control of the city, which became the first French colony in Indochina. Over the next few months, the French captured several other cities along the coast, including Quyen Hon, Nha Trang, and Saigon. The Vietnamese resistance was fierce, but they were no match for the modern French weaponry and tactics. The French Navy played a crucial role in the campaign, using its superior firepower to bombard Vietnamese positions along the coast. The French also employed local mercenaries and troops from their other colonies in Southeast Asia to supplement their forces. The capture of Saigon in February 1859 was a turning point in the campaign. The city, which was the largest and wealthiest in Cochinchina, became the administrative center of the French colony. The French also established a protectorate over the neighboring provinces of Gia Dinh and Dinh Chuan, effectively controlling the entire Mekong Delta region. The campaign was not without its challenges. The French had to deal with diseases such as cholera and dysentery, which were prevalent in the region. They also faced logistical difficulties in transporting troops and supplies through the dense jungles and rugged terrain of Vietnam. The Cochinchina campaign was officially ended by the Treaty of Saigon in 1862. The treaty recognized French control over Cochinchina and granted the French extraterritorial rights in other parts of Vietnam. It also imposed a heavy indemnity on the Vietnamese, which they struggled to pay. The French continued to expand their influence in Vietnam and the rest of Indochina over the next few decades, establishing colonies in Cambodia and Laos. The Cochinchina campaign was the first step in this process and paved the way for French domination of Southeast Asia for the next 70 years. In conclusion, the Cochinchina campaign was a significant event in the history of Southeast Asia and marked the beginning of French colonization of Indochina. The campaign was characterized by fierce fighting, logistical challenges, and the use of modern military technology. The French victory paved the way for the establishment of French colonies in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos, and had a profound impact on the region's history and culture.